Hello, my name is Sally and I'm a Qigong teacher. And I'm particularly interested in traditional Chinese medicine and, in particular, the Oriental Day Clock. The Oriental Day Clock, sometimes called the organ clock, is a map, if you like, of how qi, energy, life force, moves through the body in different ways at different times of day. So, for example, from 7 in the morning until about 11, we have a very earthy kind of energy which is available to us, particularly for our stomach and spleen, the organs of the earth element. Another example might be in the afternoon from 3 until about 7. We have the time of water, the water element, where the kidneys and the bladder come to the fore and are nourished by the energy that's around. So we can begin to see that there's a constant partnership between the chi of our particular physiology and the environment around us. And of course, we're all made of the same matter in terms of Chinese medicine. So, how can we utilize that? Well, if we are fatigued or not particularly good at a particular time of day, some people on the retreats I hold, the day retreats I hold to look at this subject in more detail, say that they're not good in the mornings or they get really tired in the afternoons. And we can self diagnose by a little bit of mindful, slow inquiry throughout our days to see whether there is a particular time of day when we need to rest, or is it good that we meet people during a more fiery type of day when we're being nourished through our hearts and our small intestines, etc. So this is really exciting for me, and I've written a book and I hold day retreats to look at this, so people can look at their particular energy compared to times of day. But I thought that I would just take you through a little of the qigong that we do on those days, so that you can start to get a feel for how your energy matches that of the day clock, as it were, and whether you can make small changes, and usually they are quite small changes, to see if you can have a better day. So I invite you into the Qigong starting position, which is called standing like a tree. And I'll get into that position myself. So we have parallel feet. I invite you to stand easy, but your feet are parallel. Your knees are quite soft. Your tailbone is a little tucked under. Feel the top of your head just raising towards the ceiling without any effort. The shoulders are relaxed. Start to feel as if your feet are on damp sand, so they're slightly below the surface of the earth. And there's a little bit of space between the arms and the sides of the body so the chi can circulate there. So this is standing like a tree. It can be related to the wood element, unsurprisingly. In terms of the Oriental Day Clock, it's when we're asleep, mostly. So it's between 11 and 3 o'clock in the morning, broadly speaking. It's when the unconscious comes into play. It's our dreams, our integration of what's happened in the more conscious daytime. And we all know what it feels like if we don't get enough sleep. So standing like a tree then, another translation in Chinese is nothing special. So it's also when we dissolve our egos, if you like, and just become empty and part of all that is. So let's start with the element of earth, which is around from 7 until about 11 in the mornings. So how is your morning, you might want to ask yourself. What do you need to do to find your ground? And I'm just going to do a very, very brief bit of earthy qigong so that you can get a feel for the element of earth. So our hands come into play here in qigong. They are magnetic. It's where biomagnetism is at its most. And so we also use our imagination to take up earthy energy. We could imagine the color gold, turn the fingers in a little bit to track the stomach channel up the front of the body at this time, the throat where we swallow, and our tongue, our mouth where we taste, all part of the digestive system, past the hands, but start to turn them towards the sky, towards the yang regions, and then come out and start again. This movement is called separating the clouds, and it's often a starting point for Qigong forms. So pulling earthy energy up front of the body, opening to it, looking to the sky a little, collecting sky, heaven, yang energy, and pulling it down. All the while the feet firmly on the ground, like you've got a very clear footprint. So the weight is equally on each foot and equally on the toes and the heels. This is your out breath as you come down. And follow your natural in-breath as you come up. Nourishing the front of the body with golden light. That might be an imagining that you can do. And we could make the sound hoo, H, H-O-O-O, hoo, or W-H-O in English. Hoo. That's also the sound of the earth element. Hoo. So a little bit of this in the morning, anytime between those 4 hours. You're tuning into what's there for you, earthy energy, and the organs in your body that are open to it, the stomach and the spleen. Let's move back a bit on the day clock, actually, to the metal element. That's between 3 and 7 in the morning. The lungs and the large intestine, which are both organs of elimination. We breathe out toxins, we eliminate through the large intestine. And so early in the morning, throwing the door open to get some fresh air, and obviously evacuating the bowels, they're all of the metal element. Often if people need the metal element, if they're needy, they get up really early to get that metal energy time, sometimes not realizing that's what they're doing. And because the metal element's very much to do with space, often those people need space. They literally need space from other people, from their work. And the wee small hours can provide that. So people who get up at 5 and do Qigong are often quite metal oriented people. So here's something to give you a feel for it. Let's do 2 dragons step out to sea. So this is from a form called Shibashi 2. Let's just start in the tree position, then shift the weight over onto one foot, step forward. And we make dragon's head, so index finger up. Index finger is the start of the large intestine channel, and also the little finger up as well. So they're like 2 dragon's heads. Dragons swim out to sea. And then if it's comfortable for you, take the nose towards the knee, the forward knee, and come up like so. Feel that expansion across the chest, then step back and open like this. Dragons swim out to sea. So big sky, big sea in that image that we've been given by the title of the move. Stepping forwards, breathing out. Feel the squeezing of the large intestine as you do that. And also the stretching of the lung. And then here, feel the lungs filling up. We could use the color white or silver. And the sound is like a snake hissing, SSSS, white, and then. So, if your mornings feel crammed and you don't feel like you've got enough space to breathe, or at any time during the day, this is a good one to do. And really, just a few minutes makes a difference while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Feel the spaciousness of this movement. back to standing like a tree, back to being empty, open to the world, rooted. And then let's do some fire, which is connected to fire element Qigong, connected to the heart. And the heart, in Chinese medical terms, the center of the chest is where the heart energy resides. And so we would find fire energy around between 11 and 3. And often that's where we're most sociable, or, we might start moving actually as well. That's when I typically want to really go out for a walk or communicate with my partner or my friends, have meetings. Maybe that's a good time to have meetings, but it's different for everybody. And again, if this time for you is problematic in terms of energy or mood, then perhaps a little bit of this Qigong and some further self-investigation might be beneficial. So here's the movement. It's very simple. It's called Dove Spreads Her Wings. We'll do it just in a standing position. And so it is simply opening the hands like this. The shoulders are down, not too far. Be aware of the back between the shoulder blades, what we call the back of the heart as well. Opening on the in-breath and closing again with the fingertips pointing towards the heart center on the out-breath. Feeling fully rooted down, top of the head to the sky, gently opening the heart area. And then gently closing it again at the back and the front of the body. Opening to the in-breath and closing to the out-breath. And feel that heart energy. So between that time, around midday, let's say, that's when the heart and also the small intestine are open to life force, particularly open to the life force. And it's when life gives us that, when nature gives us that, when the sun's at its highest, when light is around, that's when we want to open our hearts to it. Simple little thing. And let's come back into standing like a tree. So into the neutral position again, once more. And let's look at the water element around between 3 and 7 in the evening. It's when the kidneys, which are the master batteries in Oriental medicine, might be open for energy. But usually we're descending now into the evening. And so that's more of a restful energy. Although I usually find that there's a little bit of fire in it. So it's possible to do some work, but perhaps more written or admin or something like that, rather than reaching out to people. You can begin to see, I hope, how the day's energy proceeds. So let's do some watery Qigong. We'll do something called Sea and Sky. So again, we're given a prompt by the title of the movement. Step forward, shift the weight, cross the wrists over the knee, open the arms as you shift your weight backwards, and then all around and then down. And here, because it's the water element, and that is to a large extent our imagination, the movement is simple, but we imagine that we can collect up beautiful, warm, clear, clean water and shower ourselves and the field around us with it, and let it drain away, taking all toxins. So it's a restful, rejuvenating, cleansing time. If you can lie down and nap during this time, it's usually a beautiful sleep. For others who've got really strong kidney energy, this might not make sense. So, everybody is different. Following the in-breath, following the out-breath. I'll change feet and do a few in silence as well. and back into standing like a tree. And once again, just use that stillness, rootedness to let the chi just settle in the body and find its place. I hope you've enjoyed this taster of Qigong through the Oriental Day Clock. And my details and details of the retreat where we look more in depth